Hi, my name is David Silva, and at this presentation, I'm going to talk about the project plan at my internship at CERcuits. I did this internship from February until May of 2023. Let's first start with CERcuits. CERcuits is a company that is specialized in manufacturing of ceramics PCBs, which offers a greater resistance to temperature, dimensional stability, and resistance to corrosion and chemicals, compared to the conventional PCBs. The company CERcuits also strives to make the process of designing, testing, validating ceramics PCBs materials more accessible, faster, and more cost-effective for engineers, researchers, and developers. Here on my left, we have the founder of CERcuits, Frederick Lubens, and also some examples of their products in CERcuits. Now let's move on the project I worked during my internship at CERcuits. Well, this was an stock management system. The company has already an inventory system in place, but they are looking to have a better control over the inventory with personalized features that meets the company's specific needs. Here are three important points given by the company. And the first one is an automate stock management system to ensure a greater control and accuracy over the inventory management. The second one is where the student is tasked to make a comprehensive analysis using the should, the could, and nice to have framework. And lastly is an easy to use system that is needed for scanning materials on an Android smartphone or in a computer to promptly update the database. And this made it with using QR codes. After gathering information about the project in general, it was necessary to create a plan of actions. We start this plan with the analysis of the requirements for the internship assignment or project. After that is the creation of the objectives to set up project planning and to set the time that each project will be complete. For sure, we need a review and correction and also an approval for all these objective plans. This made by my mentor. And finally, once all this is approved, it is possible to have the creation of the task to complete each objective in the time proposed in the planning. And lastly is the execution of the task to complete all objectives. But we're going to go more into details of all these steps in the next slides. So, moving more into details of the first step of the plan of actions, the analysis of the requirements for the internship assignment or project. First, it is important to note that these requirements were non-deterministic. This means that they could have been improved during or after the analysis. So, the first requirement is to create a software in Python for the stock management system. The second is a software that shall run in a virtual machine with a Linux operational system of the local server. Also, the database for the software shall run in a virtual machine of the local server. The software shall run in desktop and smartphones. And finally, all the documentation of the software and related information. That's great. Let's see the second step. The second step was the creation of the objectives to set up project planning and the time of each objective will be complete. Well, based on the information of the requirements, I could create all these objectives. Starting with the general objective, which is develop a stock management system with an automatic notification for a better control of the company warehouse. And with this came specific objectives, which is first selection of the framework, also the selection of the relational database, design of the relational database, design of the class diagram, develop a web browser version of the stock management system, a mobile version afterwards, complete all the provided requirements, and lastly provide all the documentations about the development of the stock management system. Okay, that's cool. Let's go for the third point. Now in the third point, which is the review, correction, and approval of the objectives and the project plan, after have all the objectives, it was possible to set a time for each of them and then create this roadmap planning. Here we have the time that will take more or less to achieve all of these objectives. We will go more into detail of this planning afterwards, but now let's go for the point number 4. Step number 4 and step number 5 are together since the number 4 is the creation of the task to complete each objective in the time proposed, and the number 5 is the execution of this task to complete all the objectives. And this was made using Jira software. Here it was possible to track all the different tasks created to complete each objective and goal. The CERcuits company has the Atlassian software, and with this it's possible to connect also Confluence for all the documentation and Bitbucket for the repository of the web application, which is the assignment or the project for this internship. Before to continue, it is important to know the reason of the why. Why in a stock management system? Well, the thing is that CERcuits has experienced significant growth in the last years, and with this also their inventory. They have more orders, also more products, more clients, but in the same way this has increased the difficulty of managing all this data. That's why it's necessary to have an automatic system that can give them better answers. They expect to have this system to address questions such as what products are available, where are these products, and what is need to be ordered as well, and when is need to be ordered, because some of the products are also chemicals that has some expiration dates. So now we're back in the roadmap planning to know when will be done the assignment. Now we can go more into details in all these objectives and the planning of the roadmap. So in the first 2 weeks is for research, for small testings and for tryouts to avoid any problem that can be in the local server as well. This time also was setting up all this part of the local server, all the Ubuntu operational system. And this is more for the analysis of to select a framework, knowing all the options and which one was selected and why, and as well for the database of all the options, which was selected and why. After that, in between the week 1 and 2, after the week 1 or 2, after all the analysis, once is selected the framework or the database, the creation of the diagrams for the software starts. These diagrams are the ERD, which is the entity relationship diagram for the database, and also the class diagram, which is for the software itself, for all the classes and objects and how it will behave the software itself. After that, in the week number 4, start the development of the software based in the diagrams and also based in the requirements. First, I start with the web application development. So mostly everything will be done to be shown in desktop. And after some demos, it is possible also to create or to be more focused in the responsive wave, that is to show also the web application, but now for smartphones. And also I have to say that after this part is complete, there is a time also that can be improved. The diagrams can be improved, also the software itself. It has some time gap because some things can be out of scope, and so there is a time gap to can adjust this planning. So all over the time, the project will be checked if the requirements are being complete, if are being accomplished, and also all the documentation is meanwhile is being programmed. And lastly, in the final 3 weeks, all the documentation is checked and complete if it is not complete. So moving on to the last part, which is the communication. Well, this was made mostly with the Atlassian software, which are Jira, Confluence, and Bitbucket. more details about it in the next part, which is now with this Jira software. It was more for the task, how are they done, when it will be done, and also to know which one are still in stock and which one are complete to achieve all the goals. Also, it was possible to connect Jira with Confluence, but as well, it was also possible to use only Confluence for all the documentation. I like to have both linked, so it was easy to access from one to another. And in this case, all this documentation of the UML diagrams, of the planning, frame was selected, why it was selected, and also configurations of the virtual machine, and those kind of things, everything was saved in Confluence, all this documentation. And lastly, but not less important, Bitbucket for the repository of the stock management system. All the code from the web application is there in Bitbucket store. And with this, it is possible to use also a software for the version control, which is Git. And with this, it was possible to push in this repository of Bitbucket all the information from the code. And lastly, for sure, for the communication, we have Microsoft Teams. The company gave me a company email, and with that it was possible to use Microsoft Teams and then communicate if I have every question about the project, or just to notify that maybe someday I have a meeting in school or this kind of things. And that's all for the communication part. And that's all about the project plan. Thank you very much for watching this presentation. I hope now it's more clear all this information about the project plan and what the assignment was about. I really appreciate a lot the opportunity that I have to be part of CERcuits and doing this internship. I learned a lot. It was a really great opportunity to me to understand better how a company works. I will do it again if I have the opportunity. People in CERcuits are really nice people. They helped me a lot. They were always open to talk, even though I speak English, and they most of the time they speak in their mother language, which is the Flemish or Dutch. They were always open to talk to me in English or just change the conversation to English. So I appreciate that a lot. It was a really nice time there. If you want to visit CERcuits, there in this bar is the link for it, CERcuits.com. And also, if you want to know more about my projects, you can go to my webpage. There is my portfolio, and there is also a link to my repositories, my GitHub account, and then you can see all the projects that I've been working on. Thank you very much again, and bye.